Hi everyone. I wanted to pop by. I wanted to wish all of the caregivers out there a happy Father's Day. And I mean, that goes to, everybody who is in the position of essentially the paternal role in the family. And just tell you how much I really do appreciate you. I am going through a lot of anxiety right now, honestly. Father's Day is very hard for me. All of the men that I've lost were excellent fathers or would have been excellent fathers. And so I miss them very much. And when I get in kind of this agitated or emotional state and stuff like that, I was reading about in the book The Body Keeps the Score that, especially people who suffer from CPTSD and grief and loss and things of that sort, or a sexual assault, or assault of any kind, honestly. Just in general, if you've suffered trauma, a lot of times your fight or flight can be triggered in your mind and doesn't really like to go away. I am a big fan of EMDR. I forget what the acronym stands for, but EMDR therapy is basically where, it's a lot more complicated than this, but the general idea is that you can move your eyes back and forth, kind of like what happens when you go into REM sleep. And your mind has a tendency of taking those memories that are triggering you and helping you put them into the long-term memory by making associations and things of that sort. It's absolutely fascinating. Definitely recommend the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It is phenomenal when, about learning different techniques that will help essentially calm you down. I'm a big fan of yoga and breathing exercises and things like that. But, the fight side of me is also a big fan of MMA, self-defense, and weapons. So... But one of the things that I learned a long time ago for self-defense was how to, and it's just something small, something fairly easy to do. And you basically want to be able to, find things that would normally be around you and be able to use them against an attacker. One of the things that I learned was keys. Because normally everybody has, some kind of key on them, in houses, things like that. But if you do have keys, one of the things to do is, if you're feeling uncomfortable or scared, one of the things that you can do is you take your keys and you split them up and place them between the fingers like that. Now, this will ensure that should you have to throw a punch, I'm more of a diplomat. I prefer the diplomatic method and try to, talk my way out. But, sometimes, I used to have to deal with a lot of people that were under the influence of something. And sometimes there's, it's hard to reason with people when they're in that state. So I would do this as I was walking out to my car, and I mean, you want to grip the key ring, put it up against the palm like that. And that way it ensures that the keys kind of stay in place. And that way, should you have to throw a punch, you know, it'll give you a little bit more oomph, you know, especially with the way that I was back then. I didn't quite have the muscle mass. So, but no, it did. It helped me when I was scared, at least let me know that, you know, I had some form of self-defense that would be effective. I'm hoping to be putting out a little bit more, a few more, you know, instructional videos as far as self-defense and such. Like I said, it's one of the things that helped me. Another thing that helps when I'm, like I said, either feeling agitated or emotional like this is, I was taught this by a therapist. It's DBT. If you've ever heard of that, it's, I forget what that acronym stands for too as well. It's been a long day, and I've been, you know, emotional, like I said, but DBT is very good and for me, and it helps me calm down and, you know, be able to breathe, like in this instance. But one of the things that you can do is run your fingers along the hairline, and it will kind of help ground you more into your body. Now, one of the things I like to do as well is kind of run my fingers just lightly along the eyes, and just like that. So, and that one really helps me calm down. It feels really nice, you know. And, you know, I mean, one of the things that I have to caution you about is that, you know, it might possibly look weird to other people. Or at least they say it looks weird, but, you know, I mean, everybody around here already knows that I'm weird, so it's no loss for me. But it, you know, it may look weird, but that's just because they don't know what you're going through. They don't know what you're experiencing, and honestly, it's one of those things that, you know, somebody just kind of looks at you like that, and you're like, you should try it. It feels really good. Maybe they might not know about it. And like I said, another thing that I like to do is yoga, of course. The breathing exercises really help me ground. Another thing that I quite enjoy is tea. And I have, a friend gave me the recipe to something that he calls the anti-anxiety. And let me tell you, it works really, really well. I've made a few adjustments myself, kind of tweaked it a little bit. And it is skullcap, blue vervain, echinacea, white jasmine, elderflower, lemon balm, and I believe that, yeah, then that combination of herbs mixed together and put into a tea, very calming, especially with a little bit of honey. So, I mean, my grandma always used to say a little bit of patience with a little bit of honey goes a long way. So, and boy, was she right. So, I hope you all have a wonderful Father's Day, and I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And remember to ground yourself in gratefulness, as Brene Brown says. Be grateful for the ones that are around you. I mean, I am incredibly grateful for an amazing support system. My kids, my family, my friends, my best friends, my, sisters out there. And, I try to make sure that they know that. And it's a wonderful feeling, to be able to reach out to people when you're having a hard time and, be met with understanding and, patience and things like that. So, I definitely suggest you try it. So yeah, please, and also make sure to take time to be grateful for yourself, be grateful for everything that you've achieved, the caregivers out there on Father's Day especially. Hey, you survived one more year, if anything. But, just appreciate what you've done, because you've done a lot for, honestly, every single person that you meet. Please celebrate that. It's worth celebrating. You're worth celebrating. And you deserve it. See you later.